Card, I think we're long overdue for this, my friend, but I think it's time to toast because
We
you and
still,
I,
still do
you and
those?
I, go ahead.
We still do those?
Well, you listen, you and I set out on a joint path and we floated it in the summer. We talked about the state of this conference, what could bring our programs back to glory. And just like everything in life, Cart, you and I looked each other in the eyes and we said, we got to hold ourselves accountable first. We got to look in the mirror. We can't expect anything of anybody else until we fix ourselves. And that's how the Save the Big Ten movement was born, my friend. It started as a joke, it started as a bit, it started as a gimmick. And guess what? It grew in to your team and my team hitting miracle, luck, absurd, just sent from the heavens buzzer beating game winning shots to essentially clinch the Big Ten. That's what just happened in back to back games from Michigan State and Michigan. So before we get into this Michigan Rutgers recap, a toast to you, my friend. Save the Big
Cheers.
Ten.
Say the Big Ten. Let this be a lesson to everyone, a bigger message. And sometimes you just got to take accountability and point at yourself. Stop pointing at everybody else. Take things into your own hands. If you want the Big Ten, take it. Take it. It's right. It's there for the taking if you want it. And some wanted and some didn't. Damn it, we wanted it this year. And we find ourselves heading into March. Happy end of Black History Month, everybody, with basically a collision course for something to go down at the Breslin Center and for the Big Ten to finally be saved. And that's all we could ask for, Gregory. That is truly all we could ask for.
Now, what we're not going to do is look ahead because you still have to exterminate Wisconsin. We
Mm,
are formally one more Wisconsin loss away from
yep.
the title only being shared between Michigan State and Michigan.
So I
So,
think I think it's fair to say we do need a save the Big Ten update in general, just to
yeah.
keep everybody in line here.
Yeah. So you a win for Michigan State this weekend, you can firmly exterminate Wisconsin and the Big Ten is officially saved.
Mhm.
To me, I still envision we don't formally close this movement until you and I are sitting on the podium together, arm in arm, arms around each other with two banners. That's how I envision this. I will get us physical banners if we get to that point. But yeah, in the meantime, we're like one game away for both of us, which is crazy. All right, let's get into Michigan Rutgers. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't really know what to say about it, but at the same time, just another day in Michigan basketball that is 2024-2025 season. Like close basketball game. And they win close basketball game. Now, this one was a little bit different because I mean, you gave up 57 first half points at the crib to Steve Peichel. That in itself is blasphemy. But for them to get to the end point where you have a chance to win the game, and you have a guy who, by the way, has, been struggling with a shot as of late, be the guy who hits the game winner, a deep one at that, a contested one, and one that was extremely massive. I think for Michigan in their hopes to get to their end goal of a Big Ten championship.
Breaking news, real quick. Steve Peichel just dropped three f bombs on his post game radio interview, and Jerry Carino, who's at NJ Hoopshaven, who covers Rutgers for years, says he's never done anything remotely close to this before. So
What's he talking about? Like himself, the game?
I don't
What
know. It's just a tweet, but I just broke Steve Peichel.
does
That's what happened.
that feel good?
No, I like Pike, man. All right, where to start with this? Oh my God. This people are going to say this was like every Michigan game because they got lucky at the end. And let's be clear, they got lucky in the end. This was not like any other Michigan game in this win streak to me. It was a one of one weird game that I think Michigan did a bunch of horrible things in and then ultimately kind of made a bunch of tough plays late that I guess, deserved a victory. But this is not like Tom Izzo, Michigan State after Holloman's full court shot, where like you're staring the cameras in the eyes like we deserved this one. No, we didn't. Like I don't know that Michigan's deserved many of these wins in this run. It makes it all the more special and all the more fun and all the more crazy. But like Michigan gave up what 57 points in the first half in this game.
Yeah,
57 points in the first half
57.
to Steve Peichel, and like I mean, respectfully, I thought Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper were fine in this game. Cart, the Rutgers role players scored 52 points. I didn't even know they were capable of that. I would bet you that hasn't happened this year once. So I like look, it was awful defense. It was awful defense. Michigan, I don't even know what they were trying to do defensively in the first half. They just were totally disengaged. Everything was wide open. It was lack of effort in a lot of spots. Vlad Golden had no answers. He was too far out on the perimeter. There was no help side. Nobody knew what to do. And I don't really think they changed all that much in the second half. Rutgers just went from making 75% of their shots to a 10-minute dry spell in the second half, and it opened the door. And Vlad Golden had some big plays, and they stormed through it. Again, I want to make the point for much of this win streak, Michigan has, I don't want to say controlled games, but they've built leads,
Mhm.
right? Like they've built
True.
a 10-point lead in the first half, or they've been up and been the better team at a point in the game. In this game, definitively, Rutgers was better than Michigan. And then all of a sudden, Rutgers couldn't score in the final 8 minutes. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey traded time on the bench. And Vlad Golden had like 3 blocks, 3 dunks in a span. Michigan got to the free throw line a ton. All of a sudden, the game's tied, and it became the classic Michigan's going to out-clutch you in the final 3 minutes. But do you agree with me that Rutgers was just the better basketball team in this game?
Yeah, I think they just had guys that were. I mean, look, I'm a Lathan Somerville guy. This was Lathan Somerville's best game in a Rutgers uniform. He got to the free throw line, he made all his free throws, and the one thing that I think at least I noticed in the first half that was different defensively, and I think I texted you early on in the game. I was actually giving Dusty credit for it. It seemed that they weren't playing drop coverage. They were doing a little bit more like hard hedge blitzy type things, looking maybe to make Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper make a decision more so than them beating you. And I thought that other guys on Rutgers kind of stepped up. Acuff hit some shots. Jamichael Davis had, allowed 5 points. He had the tough layup. He had the 3-pointer, and then he had the dunk and one dunk on Danny Wolf. It was just a lot of guys on Rutgers kind of stepping up and making shots in that first half, and I was honestly just watching it shocked because I mean I've watched this Rutgers team a good amount this year. They don't just put up 57 points in a half, not on the road either against what I would constitute as a good basketball team. So, um, I do think another major part of that is like I want to say at the end of the first half, it kind of got to like was the largest lead in the first half like 14?
I think it
If
was
I
12.
Was it 12?
12 or 14. Yeah, one of those.
Okay, it was 12 or 14, and I really wish I remember who exactly did it. But there was a run, like a little 2-minute spurt there where Michigan cut it to 8 at half. Like it could have gone either way. It was at 12, could have stayed at 12, could have possibly went to like 15. Like Rutgers had some chances to make some shots. And I thought Michigan did a good job of making some plays down the stretch to kind of cut that to 8.5. And I think they carried that momentum into the second half. And look, we could talk more about the actual inside of the game and what happened here, but I think the better basketball team won. I know you said that you guys didn't deserve it. That's fine to say, but I also would like to make it clear the better basketball team won this game. And now the better basketball team doesn't always win. We watch a lot of hoop. We know how that shit goes. But the better basketball team won this game.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you know that since January 13th, Torvik says Rutgers has been a better basketball team than Michigan?
You want to know what I think since then?
What do you think?
Yeah, Michigan's better than Rutgers.
Okay. Look, I appreciate that from you. and I agree with the sentiment over the course of the season. Michigan has obviously been better than a 14 and 15 basketball team.
Mm.
I really am struggling with what to place this Michigan season on or at cart because um, maybe you'll disagree on this. I don't know. Let me ask you: am I an objective person?
I'll give you credit. Yeah, for the most part.
Like I can be like an asshole troll, and obviously I'm a fan, and I'm going to paint everything positive for my team, and I'll play the narrative game with anybody, right? I can paint whatever narrative you want, but I
Yeah.
like to think like last year I was very willing to torch my own program and players. I've
Yes.
I've never been above that. I will never sell you something that isn't real,
Mm.
and I'm really struggling with this Michigan team, Cart, because I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't think this team is a good basketball team right now. And I don't think they've been a good basketball team for at least the last few weeks. The last time I felt that this was a good basketball team was when we beat Purdue at home. Ohio State, the loss to Michigan State, the Nebraska 49-point game, and then this. Like I think Michigan's played awful basketball for at least three straight games. And the analytics, which I'm an analytics guy, the analytics would tell you that a month before those three games, Michigan has not been good. They've been fortunate. And I've made this point on other videos, but there is something to be said for being fortunate and winning games when you don't play well. And I think that is the nicest thing, the biggest strength of this Michigan team is that they keep finding a way while not playing their A game to win and be good enough. And I think when you step back and view it broadly, not just this individual Rutgers game, it does make sense that this team is capable of doing that because of who Vlad Golden is and because of the cheat code that they have inside. Like their floor is just going to be so much higher than another team's floor over 40 minutes that you really need to come out and dominate Michigan or hope Michigan F's up. And like they've left the door open for a lot of teams with how poorly they've been shooting from outside, but teams still got to take it. And the reality is the only team that has taken it from this Michigan team in a month is Michigan State. And this team, again, Michigan could have been 5-5 in this last stretch of 10. I am in no way coming on here to act like this team's all that special or playing great or gettable. Anybody can get this Michigan team right now. Literally anybody. And a lot of teams aren't. And that's where it becomes hard for me because I am a fan and I can't lie. I am enjoying the nonsense of this run. Like I've never watched a team that is this fortunate. In a lot of ways, it is the opposite of what last year was, where Michigan, I swear we lost like 14 one possession games last year before we
Mm.
really bottomed out and started losing in blowouts. Like November, December, Doug McDaniel had a shot to win like 7 games and it just missed every game. So look, I don't know what happened. Maybe Juwan Howard sacrificed a lamb or something. I don't know who's playing with voodoo dolls, but this team is as fortunate, as lucky as any team in college basketball. And as a fan, I won't apologize for it. I'm going to sit here and enjoy it. And I can admit that. And I think as long as I admit that, we can all agree okay, this team's still in a title hunt while being extremely fortunate, while being a lot worse than the team they're in a title hunt with. And yet somehow Dusty May has this team where they're at. It's crazy.
Listen, I maybe somebody else. We have other people on this channel that you hop on here with. I'm never gonna make you apologize for winning basketball games. I'm not gonna do it. We can talk about how it happened. We can talk about the style it happened. We can talk about ugly, pretty, whatever you want to say. Uh, it's about at the end of the day winning and losing basketball games. And look, I think the bigger question is, well, it's not even the bigger question because like it's almost the end of the season. It's like how long is this gonna go on? Well, you got what, two regular season games left? Three?
We got three. We got Illinois this weekend on Sunday at home. I'll be in the building. We got Maryland next Wednesday at home. Tough one there. And then at the Breslin Center. I mean, we have to be in the building for that, right? If the Big Ten's actually on the line, don't we have to be there?
Yeah, we got to find a way.
We have to be there.
We also we do have to be there. Okay, so I we'll talk a little bit more about it because I do want to talk more about what actually went down in this game. But just a quick look ahead here. These three teams that are coming up, you talked about it. Michigan State being the best team in the Big Ten right now. You
We've
already
won. I'm sorry to interrupt. We have won 9 straight games by 4 points or less. Like I'm just looking at the Ken Pom page right now.
yeah,
It's nonsense. Every single one of these games was tied with like 2 minutes left.
it's insane, and it's probably driving folks nuts. It is driving
Me
folks.
nuts, man. And the sick part, the sicko part, you asked me this before we click record, and I mean this. The sicko part is when Trey Donaldson fouled and we're up 1 and they're going to the line for 3. You were like, "Were you sick?" And I was like, "No." Like I got some weird feeling we're gonna pull this shit out of our ass like we always do, and it's just crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, shit, they really did. Even after that three, I mean, even leading down to the final possession where Trey Donaldson had the ball and it looked like all hell was about to break loose. Dusty gets his timeout. We'll talk about that one. But yeah, do you think that like? I'm sorry, now I'm looking at this. You have a minus 17 point differential, and you're 9-3 in the stretch.
Yeah, I hear the point on that. I don't love that game just because like
Is it the Purdue game just throwing that off basically?
I mean, you could just do the Michigan State game too, and it's still probably a differential. But like, yeah, we got beat by 80 at Purdue. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do? Apologize that we've won 8 straight games after? Like, again, this Michigan team is nowhere near as good as their record. Nowhere near as good. But like if that's the big point with this team, then okay, are we giving Dusty May an award? What does he get for winning a bunch of games he shouldn't? Give him an award then. Like, which one is it? Is this team awful? And they are tied for the Big Ten with 3 games left. That feels like what it is to me. It feels like this team should be a bubble team, and they're tied with Michigan State with 3 games left. Okay, like get the man a plaque. I don't know, whatever. Like what do
So
we
if
give
y'all
people
play,
for
if
overachieving?
y'all play like this, or this stretch of games that has been close, where you have stated y'all have not played your A+ game, well, whatever term you want to use. You play that way in the next three. What's y'all record?
Ooh, it's a good question. So you're saying as bad as we did in Nebraska and Rutgers?
Well, no, because I feel like that intuitively like that. I don't think that's gonna get it done against the three teams coming up. Like it might get it done against Illinois at home. It even might get it done. I don't know if it gets it done against Maryland, but I guess going back a little for like throw the Purdue game at Chrysler in there.
Yeah.
Like where does that fall on the grading scale? Like you throw A+ out there. What was
If
that
we
game?
if we played like we did against Purdue at Chrysler, I think we beat Illinois and Maryland.
Okay,
That was a good performance.
right. Yeah,
But like the other games, like if we play like Nebraska or Rutgers, we lose all 3. And that's sort of like Michigan's hovering here. They haven't Michigan has not played an A+ game since UCLA. I mean, the beginning of January.
Hmm.
That is still somewhere in there. And I know you've been downplaying it a lot, Carr. I know you have. They're not at full strength, man. Like you can say you don't like Reuben Jones, whatever. They missed him a lot tonight. Like in that first half where Peichel is hanging 57 on my head, and I got 0 answers for Tyson Acuff, and LJ Cason keeps falling asleep on the bat. Like, dog, I got LJ Cason crunch time minutes tonight.
Hmm.
This team is
What's wrong with
super
Ruben?
shallow
I
right
thought it was
now.
like, is it the flu?
With who?
Ruben.
Yeah, I think he's got the same mono shit that every other player in the league has.
Oh, not my. See, I'm thinking, is it flu or is it mono? That's
I
different.
don't
If it's
know.
mono, y'all might be cooked the rest of. Like, I don't think you're getting them back.
Yeah, I don't know. He's missed 2 straight. He was questionable. Wasn't warming up. I've heard
Cheddar
some.
though, we didn't talk about
True.
Cheddar. Cheddar looked like the best pick and pop big in the league.
Yeah, I mean let's get more into the game, I guess. I feel like there was one more like broad
There's
thing
a
I
reason
wanted
we
to
don't want to
mention.
get so into the game, is because like Ruck. It was so funny to me, like the and I get where they're going with it because I think other people say that too, and even we said it in the preview. People are like, "Oh, this team." A lot of the Peacock guys are like, "Oh, no one in the Big Ten tournament wants to see this Rutgers team." I think everyone in the Big Ten tournament would love to see this Rutgers team. They're
Yeah.
not good. They're not.
Yeah, I mean Michigan had layup lines whenever they just like were
Right.
patient and got inside
No,
here.
as long as
So
Vlad didn't fumble the ball himself off the hoop or miss a dunk, he Vlad's probably going back to his newly engaged fiance, by the way, and being like, God damn. However you say I could have had 37 in Russian.
yeah. I don't know what to make of Lab, man. He had 22 and 11 with two blocks, two huge blocks on the same possession. He was 8 for 10 from the floor, 6 for 8 from the free throw line. It was an objectively awesome game. And he also fumbled the ball and missed a dunk.
Well,
Like,
and all that was in the first half. He had 19 and a half.
and he had 5 turnovers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I guess let's go granular on the game in a minute, but last thing broadly, can I narrative paint and just show the two different sides of how you could view this Michigan season real quick?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I need you to place what side you're on.
side one. Michigan needed a 40-footer miracle on a slot play that wasn't even what they drew up to beat a 14 and 15 basketball team at home in the middle of a title race.
Mhm.
Yuck. That's awful. This is their ninth win in a row by a lucky miracle. Flip. Rutgers shot 70% from the floor for a half, hung 57 points on you in the crib. Danny Wolf had his worst game of the season in front of scouts. You're without a starter and one of your key bench guys. And on a night where you shot 23% from three and 65% from the line, you won. Like Rutgers played their absolute 100 out of 100 A plus half. Michigan played an F, and once again they won. You get what I'm saying? Like this has been the story like a bazillion straight times, right? Like Michigan stunk tonight. Thought Ohio State played really well. Michigan gets a win in your crib. Michigan stunk tonight. Thought Indiana played well. Michigan gets a win in blue. Like at a certain point, if we stink the rest of the season, we still have chances to win the game. If we stop stinking and go back to what we were in January, maybe all of a sudden we'll win with some separation. I don't know. Again, I told you pregame car, I bet the hell out of Rutgers plus 9.5.
Mhm.
And when Rutgers got up 12, I also bet Michigan money line
Yeah.
because I believe in this team, even if I don't believe they're going to blow people out. And right now, that belief paid off for me tonight. So
Maybe you can be on both sides. Both
it's
sides are
both.
both are true.
Michigan is not that good. And also, they got a little shit to them, and they find a way in these games. So there you go. All right, granularly on this game. I mean, where do you want to begin? I guess here. I need you to
Uh,
lead me. My head's a mess right now.
well, it's a tough game to break down, to be honest with you. Classic. What's the saying? Tale of two halves. Definitely was that. Look, Rutgers came out and I just thought they were really good offensively. We already stated that. So let's get to the point where Michigan, I think, kind of makes their comeback, right? Because Rutgers was doing their thing. And like you said, it was a lot of other guys contributing. I think Harper and Bailey had 9 each in the first half, but they were getting stuff from Acuff, Somerville, everyone else that we already stated here, right? Then in the second half, I guess I'll ask you this. What was the key to them actually coming back? Because I don't want to take the lazy take out here, but to me, it did kind of reek of like, all right, Rutgers is getting back to the means a little bit. And also we are better than these guys. Even if it was close. Like I thought Michigan got back as quickly as they got down in this basketball game, at least coming out of the second half. And Namari was incredible in this game. Will Cheddar was incredible in this game. Will Cheddar is like I know he's a program guy and he's a great bench piece. Why do I feel like Will Cheddar could go make a lot of money somewhere in the portal if he entered?
He likes fishing too much.
Yeah, but can he fish? Like, what's a
Mm.
big fishing school?
He'd have to go to like North Dakota State, but he's too
Really?
much.
What's the Ann Arbor fishing scene like?
I don't know. I don't know. We got lakes in Michigan, dog.
Like, get him with Luke Goody. They fish. Get him at Indiana.
So yeah, I look, Vlad was the Kevin Pom MVP. Vlad was the best player for Michigan, I thought. Danny Wolf stunk. I'd like to touch on that. Trey Donaldson still all over the place. I don't know.
So yeah, let's get to
Let
Danny.
me wait. I want to hit one thing first.
All
The
right.
important thing for Michigan, the most important piece of this game, the thing I will remember most from this game, the Namari Burnett buzzer beater game, right? Obviously, everyone's going to remember that shot. I will remember it for something deeper than that that involves Namari still. This game was won because of Namari Burnett and Will Cheddar,
Mhm.
the two guys that stayed, the two
Mhm.
guys that were a part of the worst season in program history for Michigan less than a calendar year ago and were the butt of everyone's jokes. Cheddar's been made fun of for months by us and many others who don't have a reason to like Cheddar.
But
And Namari Burnett, I don't think Namari Burnett got a lot of personal slander, but nobody thought he was a player. And I mean, Burnett is one of the best off ball guys in the country this year. And Cheddar is one of the best bench bigs, I think, in the Big Ten, if not the whole sport. Like these two have just put their head down and worked and overachieved without asking for any credit on a team where like Danny and Vlad get all the posters and Roddy Gale was supposed to be a star. Like these two are just role player types that should have left. Probably not could have left, should have left and didn't. One's a captain and one's just been stellar. And I mean, dog, they gave you 36 points tonight. Namari Burnett hits the huge shot, but he had 20 points before that. Will Cheddar 16 points off the bench. I don't know, man. I've talked about how I really have struggled to even like enjoy watching this team at times because I don't like watching Vlad and I don't really feel attached to Danny. I love watching Will Cheddar and Namari Burnett, and I know that's probably stupid and lame, but like I imagine how you feel about Trey Holloman is how I
Mhm.
feel about these two kids. Like they are just, I respect the hell out of what these two kids have become, and they won Michigan this game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we talked about like how Michigan inherently is as a team is like Vlad is I think it's easy to call Vlad a constant, right? At this point, whether it's because of Danny or because of Vlad, we can argue that whatever it is. A lot of it is because of Danny. But Vlad is gonna get you at minimum like 17 points, right? That's fair to say.
Yeah,
So, right? And then you look to for someone else to help him, right? And usually it's Danny. And then usually look to the backcourt. And if you look at this, like for as much credit as I want to give Namari and Cheddar, they needed to do that because I don't know what Roddy Gale and Donaldson were doing. Like I know Donaldson ended up having like he had some assists. I give him credit, and he did have some big buckets. Like he had the five he had, they needed them. They had the layup, I think, towards the end. Um, like that was, but like I mean, Roddy Gale only played 20 minutes in this game, and for good reason because I'm not sure what he had going on out there. They needed every bit of Namari Burnett, and they needed every bit of Will Cheddar, and I kind of get I really relate to what you're saying with the like it does feel good when like program guys who stick around who never need like accolade they don't need anything about anything they literally play for the what's the cliche they play for the name on the front not the back there is something to be said about that and you know they needed every bit of Namari Burnett's 20 points. They needed every bit of Will Cheddar's 16, just as much as they needed Namari Burnett's 20. And for those guys to step up in that spot, I think was so impressive. I mean, shit, gee, Will Cheddar played 18 minutes and gave you 16.
yeah, it's crazy.
Will Cheddar's like coming off fade screens and he's not even close to the 3-point line. He's just firing. He's got that. I think he does.
No, him and Namari and Will are legitimately great offensive weapons right now. Like they're just great off ball shooters. And again, on a team with like no shooting, you need them. Dusty tried this. I didn't see it this game, but he tried it last game. He played Will Cheddar at the three. next to Wolf and Vlad. I guess what it becomes Danny Wolf at the three with Cheddar at the four, but you play the three bigs together is the point, just trying to get some extra shooting on the floor. And that would have sounded crazy at the beginning of the season, but it's not crazy given who Will Cheddar has become. So again, tip of my cap to those two. And on an emotional standpoint, again, I am a fan. We are fans. We do this for work, but we are fans of these two teams. And I have been looking for the reason to get really attached to this team beyond just like, oh, they're winning games. It's because I care about Namari Burnett and Will Cheddar and the arc that they've done and seeing them persevere through the bullshit that was last season that was not their fault and stick around to be part of a potentially championship winning team. It's really some of the most impressive shit I've ever seen from players that have come through this program. So credit to them for translating that into great performances on the court tonight. Danny Wolf, what the hell was up with him tonight? This is a reality. This is a fact. There were a bunch of NBA scouts in the building for this game. They were here on basically this was the only good game of the night on a Thursday night. I think it was set up from schedule makers in part to kind of make this a standalone game for Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. And there were a bunch of NBA scouts in this gym to watch Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Danny Wolf. If you were a scout in this game, I would assume you came away from this game impressed with Dylan Harper, somewhat impressed with Ace Bailey, and thinking, what the hell? Why does anyone want Danny Wolf? I don't know what this performance was from him. I thought it was the worst game of his season. I thought he was pressing. I thought he was soft. I thought he was just looking for contact, not getting calls. I thought he was a disaster defensively. And I thought he was a huge part of why Rutgers built a massive lead early. So, what was this performance? What did you see?
He was terrible. He was terrible in every facet of the game. Missed big free throws. His layup attempts. He was laying it up like he was Fletcher Lawyer. Danny, you're 7 feet tall, baby. Come on now. Like it just careless turnovers, loose with the basketball. Like they were pressing him in the first half, and he was like falling backwards, like he was all over the place. He was absolutely god awful tonight. Like I don't mean to just harp on a guy, but he was I don't have much good to say. He was really bad.
I will say he made a couple plays late. Namari Burnett doesn't hit the three without Danny splitting a tough window and making a great pass with the game on the line. But like, yeah, you're right. It was just there were many times in this game where Michigan could have cut into the lead quicker or kind of gotten over the hump, and Danny left them hanging. He missed critical free throws, shot 2 for 6 in the free throw line. He was passing up open catch and shoot jumpers, taking tougher ones. Just trying a lot of crazy shit, and you're right, very finesse, very soft around the rim. This is a good game. I want to hopefully this sticks in both of our heads for future references. When we get to the next game, and you're like, why doesn't Danny just take over? This game because he
Mm.
kind of can't. Like he does not have the one-on-one scoring shit that he needs to have. And I don't know how that's going to affect him at the NBA level. Look, I think it's pretty clear at this point he's leaving, but this game hurt his stock immensely, I would imagine. It's one of the only standalone games for people to come see him, and he stunk loudly for 40 minutes. Like I don't think any NBA scout came away from this game being like that guy's gotta rise up the boards.
Yeah, no, Danny had a really tough showing. It looked like he was trying to solidify year two in Ann Arbor.
It was weird. It was a really weird game. Speaking of weird, Trey Donaldson. 3 weeks ago, I would have called this a weird game. Now I just call it. This has been the last 3 weeks of Trey Donaldson. He's still in his funk. I don't know what it is. 5 points in this game, 6 assists. Give him credit. 5 rebounds. So he was still doing little things. This is one of the only games this year that Dusty May has stuck with Trey Donaldson for big minutes when he's struggling. He played 37 minutes, led Michigan in minutes in this game. 1 for 4 from three. Did hit a big one early, but he had a big. I don't want to minimize. I thought Trey was fine in this game. He wasn't a disaster. He's had some games where like the shot doesn't fall and he doesn't do anything. In this game, like he had the big crossover late when they were down one to give him a finish to put him back up one with a minute left. Thought he was good enough defensively until the foul with 10 seconds left. But I don't know. Is this just who Trey Donaldson is for the rest of the season? Like what has happened to him?
I don't. This is kind of where I'm at with Donaldson. Are you kind of just like hoping like he has that UCLA moment in the big game when y'all need it? Like just have him do like obviously you want him to play well, but let's say you get to the tournament, you got a chance to go to the Sweet 16 and no one else is hooping and you just get Trey Donaldson doing what he did against UCLA. I
Yeah,
think
it could happen.
he's
Could
just
happen.
I think he's a crapshoot and his ceiling and his floor are very far apart in my opinion. And I think he's just being an inconsistent basketball player right now.
Yeah. It just in summary, it's like, okay, I get where Bruce Pearl's coming from. Like we were like, why doesn't Bruce Pearl ever play this guy more than 20 minutes? Oh, that's
Ah,
why.
ah,
Ah,
ah.
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, again, the one thing I will say I like about Trey is when he's having a stinker, he's still gonna be a guy I somewhat trust to make a play offensively late. Like that cross late was big, and he had a big
Mm.
finish when they needed it with a minute left. So um, then he fouled the 3-point shooter. So I was watching this possession. Michigan's up one, 20 seconds left or so, and watching this possession play out defensively. All I'm thinking is make anyone take the shot besides Dylan.
Yeah,
And
well,
that
Dylan did a great job in making sure that that happened for you because while this whole thing is going on, Dylan Harper is standing with like a foot on the logo at the top of the key, just watching everything go on.
yep. And that includes Ace Bailey from my perspective, who had just hit a big shot a minute earlier. I don't mean
Mm.
to disrespect Ace Bailey, but in my head, given who Dylan Harper is and his clutch gene, make Ace Bailey take the shot, not Dylan Harper, I would live with that. That's how I was coming into that possession. Now Michigan does a good job of both because they got the ball out of both Bailey and Harper's hands, which is honestly a big part of how Michigan got stops in the second half. I don't think it was all that forced, but like we were getting Lathan Somerville mid-range shots with 20 seconds on the shot. Like Rutgers was just such an undisciplined, stupid offense when
Yeah.
Harper and Bailey weren't doing anything. The role players were just doing stupid things all second half. And the ball finds Tyson Acuff. I thought it was a really good defensive possession before that. I thought Donaldson had a good contest on this. He just hit his body and kind of dove into him. If he hadn't hit the body, it would have been a great defensive possession. What'd you make of the foul call there? And did you think that was just a stupid play from
Yeah,
Donaldson or
just
what?
I get like you felt comfortable in that spot still where your team was going to happen and what they were going to do, but like just you can't foul a 3-point shooter in that spot. It's just
Yeah,
it's a stupid foul. Um, Now credit for the right person taking the shot. Yes, that's a big yes, we want that. But you cancel out the that's we want shooting the ball when you foul them.
yeah. Yeah, and Acuff misses the first. I'm like, he might smoke all three. Like
Yeah, I thought he
that's
was. I
that's
really
a,
thought he was.
was that a Cass Tech? Is that where he's from? Michigan
Yeah,
kid?
Tech, yeah.
Yeah, mowing a little big for Cass Tech, and no,
There's a couple people in the Acuff family with the major clutch gene. Tyson's got a little bit, but most of it went to Darius.
yeah, you're right. So he hits the second two, and then yeah, you're kicking yourself when that happens as a Michigan fan. Obviously, before we get to the big shot late, I would like to do this. We should have done this earlier in the video. Hand up, that's on me. Again, my brain is super scattered right now. This should have been done earlier in the video than this. This was a horribly officiated ball game,
Mm.
and it was hugely beneficial to the Michigan Wolverines.
Mm.
Now that I've said that, what do you want from me? I got a contender whistle at home, Cart.
You should be ashamed
What
of yourself.
what do you want from me? I should be ashamed of
You should
myself,
be
right? I
ashamed.
should
You should
be.
be
I
ashamed
should
of
be.
yourself.
And I kind of am, to be honest with you. I kind of am. Because
See,
I will
you see Harper's pops.
no.
He took to Twitter.
What'd he say?
Hold on, I just saw it, isn't it? Something literally. I think he tagged like 9 different NCAA referee accounts that said y'all need to fix this.
That's the kid you want to draft second, by the way?
That's pops.
We're shaking ass for refs?
That's pops.
What is he, a Fears? What is this? What is
That's
going on?
pops. Oh, let's not do that.
I'm just saying.
Oh, he was going
Yeah.
off. I'm looking at his whole timeline now. He was snapping.
All right. Actually, can you send me that? I gotta follow.
Yeah, I got you.
No, point blank. I thought this was a piss poor officiated game that Michigan received 95% of the benefits of. It's a horrible whistle. It was part of the game. If it's part of the game, that means it was a horrible whistle. Like if you can't tell the story of the game without acknowledging that the refs benefited one side immensely, I don't know what you're doing. And it's happened around this conference a bunch in other places. I feel like I have called it out all the time. I'll call it out here 100%. The two cylinder calls, insane. Absolutely insane. Michigan was about to turn it over, travel in the post both times, and in like a 2 minute span, they got bailed out with back-to-back cylinder calls with minimal content or contact. It was a disgrace. Now, the flip on this, I'm not gonna argue it negated it, but Michigan didn't exactly make them pay. Like a few of these calls resulted in like Danny Wolf smoking two free throws. Namari Burnett, I believe, missed a free throw at one point. Like there were points left on the board from Michigan that made them not capitalize on the officiating as much as they could have, but that doesn't make it a better whistle. This was a traditionally awful Big Ten home whistle that Michigan got.
Yeah, good. Look, yeah, you got calls. Thought we were gonna make it through this episode without referee talk.
Now I gotta keep it real. Gotta keep it real.
No,
But also, again, like what you want from me? I got a contender whistle against a 14-14 team. Like is that not what this was? Is that not the Big Ten? Like we got this team in a pennant race right now. Wouldn't it be nice if we get to the final day of the regular season, Michigan and Michigan State? Like, are the refs on the Save the Big Ten movement cart? Is that what this is?
I don't know. We can't be on the same side of stripes
Do we have to scrap the whole? Do we have to lose out to make
to
it
send them.
fair?
I don't want to do that either, but we got to figure out something.
All right, we'll hold the meeting. But I want to make it known officiating benefited Michigan massively in this game. That was a reality. Okay, the shot, the sequence before the shot. Michigan down one, 11 seconds left. They inbound the ball to Trey Donaldson coming back to the ball. He kind of dinks around for like 3 or 4 seconds. They get the ball over half court with about 7 seconds left. They kick it up to Namari Burnett in the corner, who appeared to either fumble or travel. Namari kind of grabs it, recovers it, kicks it back to Donaldson, and with 3 seconds left, Trey Donaldson looks like he's about to heave up a contested nonsense. And Dusty May takes his last time out after wasting 8 seconds to bail his team out of no action whatsoever. What was your thought in real time as you watched that play out?
I thought there was about to be some garbage thrown up. And I was waiting for Dusty to call the timeout. And I was also honestly waiting for the discourse that happened if he didn't use that timeout and he just held it in his pocket. Because honestly, I don't know if I even ever talked about it on here, G. I'm kind of pro letting guys rock in that spot. Like I've always been that way. And I think I've differed from people in that regard. Just because I believe that sometimes defenders, especially against teams like Rutgers, honestly, because there ain't no way none of them dudes knew what they were doing defensively. I still don't think they knew what they were doing even outside of that. So getting them in that spot, I'm more so of a believer in that. I know that a lot of people like the timeout. It's called a fault of mine. It is what it is. But credit to Dusty though for when it did get to a point where it looked like it was about to be a shit show. He did finally use the timeout. So on my side of it, I thought he did the right thing. I know you were probably asking for a timeout. You probably wanted a timeout immediately.
So, couple things. Oh man, I struggle with this. Dusty, from what I know philosophically with Dusty, he is not a take a timeout in a big moment guy. Like this is on record. Dusty is like 11 seconds left, we're down one. I'm gonna let my guys push. He's kind of like a player's free offense coach, right? He gives his guys a bunch of freedom offensively. This is how the game plays out for 40 minutes. Why would the final possession be any different than the first 40 minutes? That's not how I am. as a basketball fan or a coach. Not that I'm ever going to coach at Dusty May's level, but I'm just like philosophically, how am I wired? I would always be wired to take the timeout and draw up my best action. That's what I would do. So I accept that this is what Dusty does, and it's fine in general. Um, Look, it worked out for them, and I think your point is correct, Cart. He saved it because if Donaldson chucked up some bullshit, it was not going in.
Mhm.
But objectively, if we're doing like math on this is not a math recap. Your percentage of this went down so much going from there's 11 seconds left down one with a timeout to there's 3 seconds left with a timeout. The win percentage dropped from like 50% to like 10% because you let Namari Burnett almost travel. Like that, you've got to know. It would be one thing if we had John L. Davis. Who do we have? The ball didn't even touch Danny Wolf for 8 seconds. So was
Mhm.
the hope that Namari Burnett was going to blow by people? Like Namari Burnett's uncomfortable. What was Trey Donaldson going to do? Like it just the personnel of this team don't make sense to let them go. And again, Dusty like pulled the lever at the right moment. Thank God we're skydiving and he pulled the parachute. But like you could have made it easier on yourself. And the part that frustrates me is just this. He's fucking awesome at ATOs. Every time in this 9 out of 10 winning streak that he draws up a play out of a timeout in the final 4 minutes, they score. They get an uncontested layup or dunk every time. And I've seen him draw up 7 different actions. It's never the same shit. He gets a layup or a dunk every time he draws some shit up with 10 seconds to work with. So I just trust him with the clipboard. And in this game, ultimately, look, it worked. Shout out to Namari for hitting the shot. But like, if you would have told me he took the timeout with 11 seconds left, I would have bet my life we got an open look. And this is not something he's going to change. It is what it is. But again, as much as we're saying like, oh, that bailed Michigan out, it bailed Dusty out of talking about what the hell was that end game. Because if they lost this game, we would be harping so much on how you wasted 8 seconds doing nothing and put your team in a horrible spot.
Well, Dusty better give Mario a little, I don't know, a little extra stipend, a little long hug, maybe let him take a suicide off in practice or something like that. Because there would have been questions
Yeah.
if that wouldn't because one, given the whole situation you just said, and two, like, I'm thinking back to the Arkansas game, right? I think it was Arkansas, and out of that timeout, you drew up. I think Danny would like drew up like a backdoor to Roddy Gale that got stolen. I think it was that who it was? If I remember correctly.
On which one? Sorry.
So at the Arkansas game, they called the timeout.
Yeah.
They did like the dribble handoff to Danny, and then they tried to backdoor Roddy Gale, and it got
Yes.
stolen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So first of all, credit to Dusty for throwing that one away. that we didn't need to see that again. He realized who Roddy Gale is now. I don't even know if Roddy
Well,
Gale
now,
was
yeah,
before.
now every action he draws is they don't even pass it. It's just a fake handoff,
Yeah.
turn, dunk every time. And he's drawn it for Roddy, he's drawn it for Danny, he's drawn it for Vlad. It works every time.
So my question is what I'm getting to with this one is where are you at with what he drew up, the look?
I don't think it was the look. I don't think it was
Right.
the look. With 3 seconds left, I think he was trying to get something completely different. And you saw Peichel threw a zone out, and then Peichel took a timeout, which we could do 10 minutes on this if we want to. I thought Peichel should have just stayed in the zone, right? You're coming out of a timeout. Peichel, who's a defensive guru, goes to a zone which they hadn't been playing all game. So presumably, like just from the body language of Michigan's players and coaches, whatever Dusty May drew up in the first timeout was not prepared to see his own, right? And Michigan didn't have a timeout at this point. So this was a little chess between Peichel and Dusty. Peichel throws a zone out. Dusty's panicking. And then Peichel took his timeout. Like Peichel must have not liked the look and been like, "Ah, my zone gimmick didn't work. Let's bring it back in." But it gave Michigan more time to draw something different up. I don't know. It was just weird. I thought Peichel, when he went zone, I was like, damn, he got us. And then he negated it by taking a second time out. So I don't know. Heads up, Dusty May Peichel. Dusty got the win. Whatever Dusty drew up, I highly doubt it was like Danny just like kind of freelancing.
Hmm.
But bottom line is this: you got the ball to your best player. That's what Michigan's going to try and do. And anytime Michigan is in a 3 seconds or less situation, the number one thing they care about is going to be get the ball to Danny Wolf. And they got the ball to Danny. It looked to me like things were just kind of clogged up, like whether it was like a screen or whatever, just a lot of bodies right there. Danny split two guys, which again, if that's Trey Donaldson, he probably doesn't. So give Danny credit. He found a way to create an advantage quickly. And then rather than chuck up some junk from Danny, he hits Namari right in the chest. Like, no, give Namari credit. He was deep, but he was ready for that shot cart. And man, Namari Burnett has not exactly shot the lights out lately. He was shooting 44% from three for the first half of the season. And I don't want to say he's been slumping, but he's been inconsistent in the last. He's had hot games and then cold games. And for him to step up in that moment with the confidence he did to let that thing fly from NBA range was beautiful.
Yeah. How many threes y'all hit tonight? Five?
Yeah, not many.
What is it? What Cheddar hit? Cheddar hit two. Lamar hit
Five for
two.
21. Amari Burnett, 2 for 5. Will Cheddar, 2 for 4. Everybody else was 1 for 12.
Ugh.
Team can't shoot right now. They need,
And
honestly, they're not going to play him even if he gets back, but like Walters is out. They lost their shooter.
yeah,
So, yeah. Last thing from me, LJ Cason, 26 minutes. What'd you see from him? That's my guy. Shout out to LJ. This is literally an LJ Cason jersey. You
that's
see that?
crazy.
Yeah, that's my guy. I believe in him.
It's disrespecting the two, but that's a conversation for another day. Um, I see why Dusty can't always play LJ major minutes. I see it now.
See, I liked his minutes tonight. What did you see that you didn't like?
You don't think he just gets lost, kind of?
Oh, he gets lost all the time.
Oh, he does that in his good games. He gets lost.
Yep, yep.
Oh, that's just part of the experience. Okay, well,
That's
in that
so
case,
LJ has not been in the rotation because of that.
got it. In that case, then yeah. I mean, in 27 minutes, I think that he was, he gave you something.
What's the something? You don't see it with LJ anymore, do you?
I mean, I just haven't seen it in so long, and I don't know. I thought he did some things.
Cart, he played as many minutes in this game as he did in all of February combined. He played more minutes in this game than he did in all of January combined.
Which I think is good to see, given because like why are we playing why are we playing Roddy Gale major minutes? I don't even know if you want Roddy Gale back if you're a Michigan fan. I'd rather keep LJ happy if I'm
Stop. I LJ Roddy is important to this
you
team.
want Roddy back now?
Even if people are going to shit on Roddy, he's important to this team.
You want Roddy back.
I'm not going to shit on Roddy like all the other I'm not here saying Roddy's good, but he's important to this team. He's clearly better than Reuben Jones and LJ Cason. Like clearly, and he can still be productive even when he struggles. And yeah, like in this game, Roddy had a couple big transition finishes. He had that weird like it looked like he fumbled the ball, looking like he was trying to go behind the back, but like he had a reverse layup right before that. Gets to the free throw line, made 3 of 4. I don't know. I'm not out here screaming that I love the guy, but he is important to this team.
Yeah, I'm with that. So, all right, you go ahead and talk about LJ performance.
This is just where I'm at with LJ. I thought it was extremely noteworthy the minutes he played this game. They weren't spectacular minutes. He went 0 for 3 from 3. Now, if he hits one of the three threes, Cart, I think we're talking about this a lot differently. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh, he had 8 points in 26 minutes. That felt like a really good game. He just couldn't buy a jumper. And his jumpers looked good. Like his missed threes don't look awful. They're like off the dribble pull ups and just he's missing them right now. I still believe this kid can shoot. He's efficient from everywhere else. He has a nose for the basketball, and I understand I sound like a coach right now that's talking up a kid, but like he had,
Most of the basketball is crazy.
Cardi had 2 offensive rebounds. He's like a 6'2" guard.
Yeah.
Like it's a true thing. Like part of the scout on LJ and why they believe in this kid is because he just like has good basketball instincts offensively. He has horrible IQ defensively, and that's why he can't find the floor. But I've said it since November. This team's upside lies in getting Cason going a little. And if he can provide this team some shooting and bench offense stuff, it could help them a lot in the NCAA tournament. Um, and just point blank, Dusty May's gone to Pippen almost every game this season and not LJ. So in this game, you got 26 LJ Cason minutes. You got 3 Justin Pippen minutes. Like I'm kind of pissed off that for 2 months we developed Pippen on the court and not LJ. But like at bare minimum, I'm happy to see this kid on the court, and I feel like he has a breakout game coming at some point here. I don't know when it will be, but I believe that it's coming.
I'm gonna be sick when it's at the Brez.
I will say this. You're going to hate me for this. You are going to hate me for this more than anything I've said to you in a calendar year.
Ooh,
There's a
okay.
player LJ reminds me of.
Okay.
And it's not in the non-con. I think I said he has some Dame Lillard to his game.
Yeah.
Um, this is a Michigan player from the last 5 years that I see a career arc of.
Mm-hmm.
Any guesses?
For LJ Cason,
Career arc, not necessarily skill set. Career arc.
uh, Derek Walt.
Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah, I do hate that.
Hashtag free Kobe. You remember those days?
I do remember Free Kobe.
He just didn't get chances. And he would come in the game for 5 minutes, and you might see like one flash of something, and then you'd see like 7 mistakes. And then all of a sudden, by his sophomore year, he was immediately one of the best players in the league. I think there's a non-zero chance that is exactly what happens to LJ Cason. Listen, you've given me that face a lot this year.
Uh-huh.
Where have I missed this year? I told you we were going to save the Big Ten. I told you Jace Richardson was a superstar and Fears needed a smaller role. I told you that Purdue had serious issues and that they didn't have an internal defense. I told you that Benham Rickhouse was a bum and that Illinois was playing the wrong dudes. My instincts have not missed this much. Okay?
So
And I'm
so it's time. It's time. It's time. Because I'll tell you right now that this one won't have ads on it because we're compliant now. That ain't fucking happening.
he's not going to be Kobe.
No, and that's not. And honestly, that's more of a I respect Kobe Buffkin. You're disrespecting. I'm defending Kobe Buffkin now. You're disrespecting Kobe Buffkin.
I think freshman LJ Cason's better than freshman Kobe Buffkin was.
Good win. Good win. Good win.
You don't remember what freshman Kobe was doing. You don't.
Kobe Buffkin. The Grand Rapids Christian McDonald's All-American Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah.
I knew what that dude was about.
Freshman Kobe Buffkin averaged 3 and 0.
Who's he playing behind?
Wasn't it Eli Brooks?
Was it Eli
Uh,
Brooks?
LJ Cason's averaging 4 and 1. I stand by. I'm doubling and tripling down on this. The career arc will be Kobe Buffkin for
Okay.
LJK. Next year, LJ Cason will be one of the best players in this league.
I love you for this take. I just want to make it known that I'm not in.
Where do we end this? What do you make of Harper and Bailey tonight? This was a game that, quite frankly, those two should not have let Rutgers lose.
They shouldn't have, but is this not just kind of the epitome of what their season is? They have moments, flashes.
Do you pronounce epitome epitome?
Yeah, that's wrong. Sorry. This 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 cup's hidden.
Child legends.
Yep. That cup is on purpose, by the way.
So is this cup.
uh
It's a Champions Cup.
it's just I shouldn't hate watching a team with players this good as much as I hate watching Rutgers. It's honestly not even that fun when they're playing well. I just don't like it. It's not. I don't enjoy it. I wish these guys weren't at Rutgers. With all due respect,
Yeah.
I'm out on it. Like
Well,
Dylan Harper should be playing. Both these guys should be playing for a team that plays winning basketball, and they're not.
maybe a few more F bombs from Pike will get him a few more 5 stars to go 14 and 15 with. I think Pike has written his own fate here this year, and it's a frustrating thing for Rutgers fans, I'm
Can
sure.
I get one quick hot take in before we get out of here?
Please, as
Since we're
many
doing
as you
that,
want, Cart. We're never going to bed.
Rutgers is making the tournament next year.
With who on the team?
Pike is doing a okay. F this. I'm getting back to the give me the Geo Bakers of the world. I'm gonna go find me a McConnell, a Mulcahy. Those type of. I'm done with the 5 star
Yeah.
guys. I'm
Okay.
not rocking with that.
I hope so.
I don't. But
I think Pike will be coaching third grade youth ball in the greater New Jersey area.
I can see it. Good win, G.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a fun year. I keep waiting for it to come crashing down, and it just doesn't. And I don't know what to do with myself.
Let's just enjoy it.